Hey everybody. Today we are live. Our first ever live Shadow Work Sunday. So if you've been with me for a while, you know that we do shadow work every Sunday, but this is the first time we've done it live. Yeah. I'm so excited, you guys. So excited to do this live with you. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to put the info in the chat for you guys because we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. All right, we'll be doing free polls at the end. We're going to first get into our shadow work here, okay? So feel free to say hey in the chat. So today's topic is going to be why you keep self-sabotaging, okay? You don't have a discipline problem. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a shadow problem. And today we're going to find out exactly which part of your unconscious is running the show and blocking everything that you're saying you want. Okay. So, welcome back, my loves. Welcome if you're new here to the sanctuary. Remember to take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and always, always use your own discernment. Remember, you are your best guide. I'm sharing the truth Spirit has shown me and my own lived experience. So, again, this is Shadow Work Sunday. Happy Sunday, a place where we go beneath the surface, past the affirmations and the vision boards, into the actual architecture of what's stopping you. So today, that means meeting your inner sabotager face to face. Okay. Now, if you want to go deeper, I have a shadow work alchemy course and a brand new Jungian shadow deck up on my site. So I'm going to put that in the chat here for you guys. Hey, Jenna. Hey, PP. Welcome. Thank you for joining our first ever live shadow work Sunday. So I'm excited. I'm putting this here for you guys. And for those of you watching the replay, it's in the description and the pinned comment. Now, today we're going to be using my Yin deck, but it's not the one that I have up for sale, you guys. It's actually a combo deck. It's a really pretty digital deck. These are my handmade cards, of course, so they're not as pretty, but the one that I designed for you that's up is a beautiful deck. And if you don't know who Carl Jung is, definitely look into him. One of the grandfathers of psychology. I'm a Jungian myself, so a follower of Jung, and this is going to kind of incorporate all of that. And I know we've been talking about Jung in our shadow work. All right. So, first, let's talk about what self sabotage actually is, okay, before we get into the cards. It's not weakness, it's not laziness, okay? Jung called it the shadow in action, the unconscious running a program your conscious mind never even agreed to. So the shadow was built to protect you, okay? And at some point, wanting something and not getting it hurt badly enough that part of you decided, don't want it so much. Don't try so hard. Stay small, stay safe, okay? And that's your inner sabotager. It's not evil, it's scared, okay? Maybe even terrified. And that's why you can do all the affirmations and all this other stuff that you want, but it's not going to work when the shadow is running the program. Okay. It's like someone running the house from the basement. Okay. You can't think your way past an unconscious belief. You remember the other day, if you guys have been with me, I said that you cannot manifest from a place of lack. And that's part of this, okay? So this doesn't just live in your thoughts, it lives in your patterns, your body, your choices, okay, before the breakthrough. All right, so three faces of the self sabotage that you may recognize. A big one is procrastination. Okay, so I'll start when I'm ready, or if I only had this, then I could do this. All right, but you're never going to feel ready if you don't work on your shadow. Okay, if you don't do the shadow work. And self-destruction right before success. So sometimes you get a little taste of success, it scares you. There's a thing, fear of success, just like a fear of failure. Okay, so you burn it down before it's actually fully working. And if you know, you know. If you've done this, then you know you've done it. Okay, I've been guilty of it myself in the past. Okay, and then staying in the familiar pain. A lot of times we stay in things because it's familiar, even if it hurts us. Okay, because at least you know what to expect with that, right? The unknown sometimes is so terrifying, that we will stay in what we know hurts us because at least we know what to expect. All right, so we're going to talk about this today. All right. So we're going to pull today. We're focusing completely on the shadow. Okay. So we're going to be pulling today from our Jungian Shadow deck, Healing Action deck, and Somatic Spirit deck. And all of these are combined in the digital deck that I sent you guys the link for on sanctuary444.com. Okay. Um, so we're going to be doing that. I'm going to pull first for the collective, and then we will get into personal pulls. Okay, so today's focus is shadow work. So our first pull is we're gonna try to find out what archetype is running our sabotage right now. Okay, and then what shadow pattern is beneath all of that. And then we're gonna get into what's wanting to be integrated for us. Okay, so let's find out. Oh, you know what? I want to pull some charms for you guys too. And then we'll get into those. Mix them up good. Again, remember, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Always use your own discernment. Okay. Let's see what we got here, guys. Okay, so we do have our blue feather, a soccer ball. Interesting. And we got letters or initials, so they could stand for a lot of different things. Y, D, and those could go in any order. So again, blue feather and soccer ball. So let's talk about the charms before we get into the cards, okay? Now, if you guys were here yesterday, we got a little bit of a sports theme too. So it could be that you actually play soccer, or soccer somehow resonates for you in that sense. But the soccer ball also represents teamwork, okay? Movement. Soccer is kind of a global community sport, okay? So it's all about energy, maybe some competition, stamina. So it could be a community theme here, or maybe even some competition. Competition kind of came through last time too. And then we have a feather here. So feathers are spirit communication, okay? And signs from guides, and you pass on loved ones, freedom, ascension, divine confirmation, okay? And then the color matters too, okay? So we're going to talk about our colors here. So we got blue. Blue is associated with throat chakra, okay? Also water or air signs. So mostly Cancer, Pisces, and Aquarius is what blue is associated with, okay? But also truth, intuition, communication, calm, emotional healing. Okay, so this might be spirit telling us that someone needs to maybe heal with expression. And then we've also got this community. So it might be the way that you express yourself in your community, something like that. Okay, but we're going to get into this. And welcome if you are just joining. Feel free to say hey in the chat, where you're joining us from, your zodiac sign. We're still going to do polls, but with a shadow lens, you guys, okay? I see I've got messages from Jenna and PP, so I'll be catching up on that here in a second. So stay with me, guys. All right. So let's see. What archetype is running for the collective right now, and what shadow pattern is underneath it? Oh, one already fell out. Okay, so the archetype is the persona, you guys. Let's see if we can get what shadow pattern is beneath it at all. And then we're going to talk about what that means. We did. Okay, we got a shadow pattern. This is awesome. Okay. One of each was exactly what I wanted. Thank you, Spirit. All right, so let's talk about this. So we got here our archetype, the persona. Okay. This was a Jungian archetype, as I said. And basically, the mask that you built to be acceptable, the version of you that performs for the world, is what the persona is. Okay. And what did we get? We were talking about how you present yourself in the community. So this makes total sense. This completely connects to the persona. Okay. So this might show up in exhaustion from keeping up appearances, feeling unknown even by the people that are closest to you in your life. And in the body, it can be tension. If you feel tension in your face, in your shoulders, your throat, okay? This has been coming up in the collective a lot. We did get blue throat chakra, okay? So this is totally connected here. This is a confirmation from spirit. And if you guys were with me last night, I was kind of clearing my throat a lot. So I was telling you guys there was some throat chakra energy there. And, you know, that's the body that's holding the performance, the persona, okay? So, a good question to ask yourself if you're feeling this is, who are you when no one is watching and nothing is required of you? Okay. So, this is how you're showing up around others, and especially in the community, because we got the soccer ball here. Okay. Now, for some support, some things that might help you, chamomile tea, you guys. Drink some chamomile tea, put some lavender oil. Now, if you're putting that on your body, make sure that you use a carrier oil as well, like coconut oil, olive oil. I love coconut oil personally. Okay, some coconut oil mixed with lavender, smell it. Put some lavender oil in your diffuser, anything like that, or if you have a spray, however you are able to use that. Blue lace agate too is a good stone. If you have crystals, if you're into them, it's a good thing to hold during meditation. Okay, those all help with this. Okay, and now we've got our shadow pattern. So we're going to get into our shadow pattern here too. And the one that we pulled is the perfectionist. Interesting. So the whole concept behind Jungian's the perfectionist shadow pattern is shame in disguise. Okay, so that's the belief that if you do it perfectly, then you're finally going to be safe from criticism. Okay. And this also can show up as procrastination. Okay. Remember, we were talking about procrastination, over explaining, never finishing tasks, being really critical of yourself. Okay. Fear of being seen. What do we say? The way you show up in the community. Okay. This all links together. So, Spirit's confirming this through our charms too. And what you might feel in your body is tension, maybe in your forehead, a clenched jaw, maybe shallow breathing, chronic neck pain. Okay. So, a good question to ask yourself here is, what are you not starting because you're afraid it won't be good enough? What are you not starting because you're afraid it won't be good enough? All right. So, lemon balm tea, fluorite, any of those things are good for this as well. Okay. And if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to put that in the chat or the comments if you're watching on the replay. And let me know if any of this is resonating for you guys in the chat. And any patterns that you guys notice in yourself. All right. Now, you can't fight the sabotager. Okay. So we're going to talk more about that as well. PP, thank you. You burn them in incense? Oh, good. Love it, PP. That's awesome. Spreading your message to the youth. Very good. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad that's resonating. All right. So, as I was saying, you cannot fight your inner sabotage. Okay. You have to actually talk to it. All right. So, a really good concrete practice for this, when you catch yourself sabotaging, pause and ask yourself, how old do I feel right now? Because there's a lot that lies in that answer, you guys. What is this part of me afraid will happen if I succeed? When you ask yourself how old you feel in that moment, it can bring you back to that original wound. Okay. And then once you know what the wound is, you can heal it. So ask yourself how old you feel at that time when that's triggered. And then what is this part of me afraid will happen if I succeed? So a lot of times we start to focus on the worst thing that can happen, but the best thing could happen. Something good could happen too. So what if that happens? Start asking yourself that, okay? And the answer lies in the shadow work. So this is what I mean when I say do your shadow work, guys. Okay, that's where the healing is. All right. And again, I have the deck available for you guys on my site. You can pull from it exactly like we just did. So I'm showing you how you can use it and kind of integrate it into your shadow work. Pairs perfectly with the shadow work workbook as well. It's my shadow work for spiritual badasses. I love that title. But we are going to be pulling from this deck to see what comes out for you guys. And we'll pull also from Healing Action and Somatic Spirit. So let me know in the chat if you want a pull, a personal pull for you. And I'll pull cards from each of these for you, and we'll do a little shadow work together. Again, focusing on the shadow today. So I'm going to catch up on the chat now. But yeah, let me know if you want a poll. So not necessarily specific questions, but we'll be pulling from these decks here today. I'm catching up on your messages here. These decks resonate with your life, Jenna. Oh, good. I think we need a personal session, Jenna. I I have a lot of thoughts on this. Oh, girls' day, fun, fun. Great, PP. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Ah, yes, that reminds me. Let me put that in the chat here for you guys too. And for those of you who are watching, it's in the description. And I'll pin this for you guys. Okay, let's pull for Jenna from the Healing Action deck here. Actually, I'm going to pull from the Yang deck and then we'll get into the other two because the Healing Action deck tells us what action you can take, and it's really helpful. So it's more going to get what's beneath all of this, Jenna. Good Jenna Spirit. The archetype for you, Jenna, is the eternal child. Interesting. So this is a younging archetype of this one. Then the wounded child shadow pattern came out. Oh, these are really related. I like this. So we'll pull from the other two. Let's go ahead and pull from them and then we'll go over it all together. Okay. So again, this is for you, Jenna. Jenna. Okay, got a few come out of that one. Oh goodness. I only saw one of them. I haven't flipped them all over yet, and I'm already like, ooh, okay. So, first, we're going to talk about your archetype here. So, the eternal child. So, this archetype is of possibility and youth. So, but in shadow, it's a refusal to commit or refusal to grow up or face the consequences. Okay. This can show up in chronic restlessness, starting things without finishing them, avoiding responsibility through spiritual bypass. So maybe you're like, oh, positive vibes only, that type of thing. Um, and you can see this in your body through maybe at times when you're feeling anxious, you might have shallow breathing, tightness in your chest, this underlying anxiety that never fully lands. Okay. So if you've been feeling that, that's related to this archetype. So a good question for you to ask yourself is what are you refusing to commit to because commitment feels like death to your freedom? Okay. So that's the eternal child. Okay. Some good things for you. Carnelian is a good stone. I think I have some right here actually. So it kind of looks like orangey brown, sometimes orange and white. Mine right here actually broke, but um, broken crystals still work. um, Lemon tea would be really good for you too. And then your shadow pattern. All right, so we're going to get into this too. And this is the wounded child. And you notice both of these are have child in them. Okay, so there's a child wound here. So this shadow pattern is kind of like a part frozen at the age of where the wound happened. So remember when I pulled for the collective, I was saying that, like, ask yourself how old you feel in that moment. So part of you kind of got stuck at the age when you were wounded. And this happens to all of us when it comes, especially with deep trauma. Okay. So now as an adult, this can make, when you go to make decisions, it can make it difficult, okay? Because you have that childlike fear or the fear from that age, okay? So this might show up as emotional flooding, fear of abandonment, okay? I think there's some of that at play here in your relationship. Seeking parental approval, or, you know, in any adult relationship, maybe seeking out approval from them a lot, okay? Despite reality. And in the body, that might feel like tightness in the throat. We got the blue here, okay, for the throat chakra. That's what I've been saying. Stomach aches. Maybe you feel small in some sort of way. So, a good question for this is, again, how old do you feel when you're most triggered? So, really sit with that one, okay? And then, what did that child need then? What, at that age, what did you need that you didn't get? Okay. And blue lace agate's really good. Chamomile tea, pink calcite. Okay. But chamomile tea, lemon tea, those would be really good for you. I'm an herbalist and doctor of natural medicine. So that's why I bring all of that into. Okay. And then we got here feet and legs for you. We're going to talk about that. But this is the card that I had to kind of chuckle at. Set a damn boundary came out for you from the healing action. So it's an action that you need to take. You need to set a damn boundary. Okay. And you are safe to heal came out. Cleanse your aura. Okay. So I'm actually going to put them in that order because, you know, do a cleanse, set a down boundary. I'm hearing boundary violations all over the place just from your what you were saying in the chat. Okay. So you're safe to heal. You need to know that. And you need to feel safe, both, you know, in yourself, in your own body, and in your relationship. Okay, and feet and legs came out here for you. So you might be feeling, whether it be pain, circulation issues, maybe restless, kind of like restless leg syndrome. And the root cause of this is the fear of moving forward, a lack of grounding. I would definitely say that's what comes up in your energy, is the needing to be grounded. You have kind of a very anxious energy, anxious attachment style in your relationship. And that's no shade at all. I'm just, you know, pointing what comes up in your energy. And the chakra tied to this is the root chakra. Okay. So to ground yourself, you know, walk barefoot in nature if you can. Do some root chakra affirmations, hold grounding crystals. Okay. Things like that. So those are my tips for you. Let me know if any of that resonates. You're welcome. You do feel restless. Aw. Hi, Yagmer. Welcome back. I'm catching up on the chat. PP said you feel like it's yours. We'll pull for you too, PP. Hey, G. Hey, G. I'm saying hi to myself. I was reading your comment. Hi, Yagmer. Clearly, I need another sip of my coffee. So that reading was for Jenna. You're welcome. And Jenna, seriously, if you want to book, my readings are not, like price outrageous either. So if you really want to book a one-on-one with me, all the information is on my YouTube and on the site. I'm not just trying to, promote my services, but I think you could benefit from that. So if you do want to do a one-on-one with me in private, then let me know. Yagi, I like that. All right, so I'm going to take these because someone else might need these cards too. We're going to put them back and shuffle. And who's next? PP and then Yagi. I like that, Yagi. Oh, confirmation from my fur babies. You're like bells or something outside, so there's a big confirmation too. You know that saying with bells on or whatever? All right. Oh, Jenna nicknamed you that? I missed that one. Oh, do you guys know each other or just from the chat? Yeah, I guess. Online besties. I love it. Aw. Look at my followers becoming friends. I love it. I love it, you guys. Okay, we're shuffling and we're gonna go next. And we will go into, I think, PP and then Yagi. All right. So let's see what comes out. Ooh. You ready, PP? You ready for this? Let's pull on the Yagi deck. And you may get the same one. Who knows? You said that you felt like those were for you, for PP Spirit. And you may have multiple like that. I mean, and shadow work's kind of this continuous thing. It has a lot to do with healing, our traumas and things. And um, it's an healing's not linear. It's an ongoing process. Okay. Oh, you did get one of those, PP. No wonder you resonated with it. You got the eternal child too. But you got 3 archetypes here. Let's see if we can get a shadow for you, shadow pattern. I keep seeing one. I want to see if it falls out. You got the Senex, the eternal child, and the self, PP. Okay. Yep. The projection. All right. Let's go with this. I like it. I'll pull from these 2 for you and then we'll put them all together. Spirit. We got quite a few from the healing actions, PP. Let's see what comes out from the somatic deck. I've been talking about doing this shadow work live for so long, you guys, and this is the first time I've done it live, and I'm loving it. Hopefully, you guys are loving it too. Young is the when I started. Okay, yeah, we got something. When I started studying Young, it was the first time I had ever heard about the shadow work. Um, Before that, I didn't even know what that meant. So if you didn't before this, don't feel bad. Um, it's all a learning process. Okay, so we'll talk about the eternal child again, just in case you forgot. So this is the same one that Jenna got, and you said it was kind of resonating, so it makes sense. So again, this is the possibility, use, refusal to commit or grow up or face consequences for our actions. And so again, this can come up as restlessness, starting things but not finishing them, avoiding responsibility, spiritual bypassing. So again, if you're thinking, oh, just stay positive, positive vibes only. Nobody is always positive vibes. Okay. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. If you know, you know. So no spiritual bypassing here. We integrate both the light and the dark. That's what shadow work is all about. Okay. Especially from a Jungian perspective. So, again, in the body, shallow breathing, tightness in your chest, underlying anxiety that never fully lands but doesn't go away either. So, if you feel like you're an anxious person, even if it doesn't seem like it from the outside, then that would make sense. So, again, ask yourself, what are you refusing to commit to? Because commitment feels like death to your freedom. Okay. So, commitment doesn't have to mean losing freedom. That's a big one. Okay, so somebody needs to hear that. So again, carnelian's a good crystal for you to be using. Sunstone, lemon tea. All right, and now let's get into the Senex, which was your next archetype here. And this one is order, authority, tradition. Okay, so in shadow, it comes across as, rigidity, control, contempt for growth. So maybe there's somewhere that because you have an issue with authority, you're refusing to grow in a certain area. Okay, and this would relate to this eternal child because we said that you were kind of not wanting to relinquish freedom. Okay. So maybe when you feel that little sense of having to commit or being controlled, you kind of are rigid in that sense. Okay. So, how this shows up is fear of change, clinging to systems that no longer serve you, harsh judgment of those who live differently than you. Okay, so any of those or all of those. You might be feeling this as stiffness in your joints, tension in your spine or back, chronic contractions in the body. So if you have like muscle cramps or spasms. So, good question to ask yourself is what are you holding on to so tightly that you've forgotten why it matters? Okay. Black obsidian's really good for you, which is a protection stone. Um, Smoky quartz, any of those you can hold while you're doing whatever ritual that you do, whether it be meditation, prayer, etc. And then you also got the self. Again, we're going to put all this together for you, PP. And this is a really interesting one, and the fact that you pulled them all together. So this one is the totality of your psyche, okay? The self, your inner self. So the organizing center that Jung called the goal of individual